you Google it and you figure out what job you're going to have, right? So you're going through the entire process and you're getting ready to finally get into the Air Force. When did you actually put two and two together that you were going to AC-130s?
So back in the day, 1 Alpha 7 X1 was literally titled Aerial Gunner. It's now, we've had a couple different AFSC changes over the last decade or so, but it was Aerial Gunner when I joined. So I was actually in the hospital. My mom was having chest pain. So I was like, hey, Mom, I got my job. She's like, what medical job did you get? I Googled, a T9 on my little red flip phone.
Heck yeah.
And it pops up Aerial Gunner. And my mom's like, what? And all the machines start going off and blood pressure shot through the
CCR
roof.
comes on.
So yeah, that was when I realized I would be an aerial gunner, which didn't really want to do, but I was like, hey, it leaves when I want to leave, et cetera, et cetera. So I was like, cool, I'll roll with it. Went through basic, went through tech school, still really didn't want to be a gunner. I was like, I'll do this for a couple of years. I'll retrain into medical. And then during tech school, doing my 3-level, we graduate, we get our wings, and the instructor comes walking in. He's like, all right, hey, he had a piece of paper in his hand. I was like, is that our job? Is that our base preference? And he was like, oh, you're a short one, Devin. And he was like, how should I divvy these out? And I was like, by height, because I'm 6'5". He's like, cool, we'll go shortest, tallest. And I was like, God. So he starts going around the room and he's, giving out jobs. And every gunner in the class with me got, gunships. So then I'm the last kid in the class. So he comes to me and he's like, so what do you want to do, Devin? And I was like, well, I wanted to go to DM on 60s, helicopters, but it looks like I'm going gunships. And he was like, congratulations, you got gunships. What base do you want to go to? And I was like, whoa, between the two, I'd rather go to Hurlburt rather than Cannon. He was like, congratulations, you got Hurlburt gunships. And so it was number 6 out of 7 on my list, but I ended up going to Hurlburt, getting trained up on the AC-130U spooky gunship. And man, as soon as I had my first flight, like we did all of our academics, ground training, all that other stuff, I was still kind of kicking the tires on it. Didn't know if I'd like it. First time I saw a 105 go off, I was like, yep, this is it. I'm here.
Yeah,
I'm here.
Got me.
So yeah, I ended up getting qualified and then moving over to the 4th Special Operations Squadron over at Hurlburt Field.
Man, well, it ended up for the best, really. And that's your words, not mine. And that's one thing that you had said earlier that that I'd like you to kind of highlight on if you can, because you didn't get the original job you wanted. You said it was kind of I don't think you said a silver lining, but it ended up being a really good thing for you. And so, like, how did that work out? Because what I'm trying to relate it to is the folks that are out there that happen to be listening, that things just don't plan out exactly how they want them to, which is why I wanted to ask you about, hey, did that recruiter, lie to you, kind of thing. So, like, how did it end up working out for the best?
And that's what, like, I tell my recruits now, right? Like, that experience with my recruiter 100% influences how I recruit, because I'm going to sit down and I'm going to get to know you, right? So if Jared or Aaron walks into my office and you're telling me I want to do cyber, I want to do X, Y, and Z, and then I get to talking to you and I'm like, dude, you do not have a personality for cyber, right? You do not have a personality for medical, right? Like, you need to be out turning wrenches on a plane. You need to be out, doing X, Y, and Z, because, like, that's me as a recruiter getting to know you. Like, that's the kind of person you are. And I know that you're going to be miserable if you do that. So my recruiter, he didn't have that perspective. He was just looking to make numbers. And gunner at the time was a very hard job to qualify for, because, like, medically, depth perception kills a lot of people, color vision, stuff like that. So the fact that I had those, he was like, cool, I've got this high qual applicant that I can put in this hard to fill job, rather than, like, talking to me about what I wanted to do. So, but it worked out because, like, the gunship community, man, like I said, I've been a recruiter for 2 years now, almost 2 years. And there's nothing I love more than the gunship community. That's what I miss the most about being a recruiter. So the ability to, be in that kind of community around like-minded individuals, have a mission that we all really kind of buy into. And then the fact that, like, people like Kyle Pettit, the big homie that you guys had on before, him being a CISO or WISO, like, they're in a chair the whole flight. Pilots co-pilots, they're in a chair the whole flight. Gunners, we're up, scurrying around, sneaking into dark spots around the plane and whatnot. We're the only ones that have freedom of movement within the aircraft. So it all just like, there were a multitude of factors that like once I got into being a gunner, really just, I was sold, man. I absolutely love it. I can't tout the gunship community enough. So if I had been medical, I would have been miserable. Just sitting behind a desk in a hospital with no windows, maybe taking blood pressure every
Which
other
is fine
applicant or
if
something.
that's your jam. That is, but
well, that's what I'm saying is, for them, like there are people that love that and stay in that career field and do that. It's just, it wasn't my vibe, right? So being out on the flight line, doing the deal, it all just kind of worked out.
No, it's not my vibe either. So